Hello viewers, I am Sushil Shalat, your host at this YouTube channel, and I'm happy and glad to be back with you with my next video. And in this video, I'm going to talk with you about nesting VLOOKUP with functions like sum, average, max, and min. As we proceed with the video, you will understand why I've chosen these functions of sum, average, max, and min. Before that, let us go over to the database over here. In this database, I have the names of the students and the six subjects in which they have scored respective marks. So let us brush up with VLOOKUP before we proceed with this video further on. So how do we use VLOOKUP? So there it is, VLOOKUP. We look out for a value, say for example, I'm going to say Rajesh, and with this Rajesh, what do I need to put up is the next thing is the table array. So I'm going to choose this complete table array over here, say comma. The next thing what I need to bring in, I need to mention the column index number which I need to return. So if I use number 2, that will be column B in this case, and then a true or a false value. I'm going to choose the true or false, so I'm going to choose 0, that is false, and I'm going to close the parenthesis and say enter. As soon as I say that, it returns not applicable because it does not find Rajesh as a whole text. So what I do need to add here is Rajesh with the asterisk. And does it work? Let us see. Yes, it does work. So friends, first thing I have taught you in this video is how VLOOKUP can be used with the text string or the search string along with the while character asterisk. What we got as an output or result here is number 58, that is marks that Rajesh Joshi has scored in language number 1, that appears in column number 2 of this database, and that is column B. Well, this was just brushing up of our VLOOKUP knowledge and explaining you how wildcat character can be used and how we can return the value that is being looked up. Now friends, if I ask you as to how much Rajesh Doshi has scored in all the six subjects, you can easily see it on the screen and tell me. But then the next question is, how much is the average that he has scored? Average marks. Or if I say, what is the sum of Rajesh Joshi's score in all six subjects? The next thing if I ask, and what is the maximum that Rajesh Joshi has scored amongst all these six subjects? The next thing I may happen to ask you, what is the minimum that he has scored? And well friends, with various functions in Excel that I just now mentioned and you are seeing on your screen, sum, average, max and min, when nested with VLOOKUP, we can get answers to all the questions that I have been asking all this time. So let us get on to this. I'm going to unhide certain rows over here and let us see what is installed over there. So what I have done here is I have brought in the names of the students. In this database we see only 8 students, but if it is a complete school and say 2000 students list is there, then it really becomes a difficult and a tiresome task for a person to do it manually, to find out the scores and averages, sums and minimums and maximum and blah blah everything. So how do we do that? Here I got conditional formatting, or rather the data validation done, and all the names of the students can be seen in this drop down. So if I shift from Rajesh Joshi to Adam Joe, there it is on the screen. I see what Adam Joe has scored: average, sum, maximum, and minimum. And if you want to re-verify or verify, there is the row. We can very well see that in the six subjects, the sum is seen to be 409, the average is 68.1666, and so on. The maximum score that he has scored is 82 marks, and the minimum that he has scored is 50 marks. Well, if I want to see the score of the 1962nd student in this list, can I do that using Excel? Yes, friends, very well you can do it. Now, how did I achieve doing this? Let me give you a demo and give you the explanation. So, well, I'll go over here in this cell and I'll first of all do the data validation. As you already know how data validation is done in Excel, I have explained it time and again in my many videos. I'm just going to go over here in the data validation and choose the list. In the list, what do I need to include is the name or the list of the students whose name appear in this database. And once done, I'm going to say OK. In this drop down, now I'm able to see the names of all the students which are in this database. All the 8 students are appearing. I'm going to choose, say, for example, now I'm going to choose Shruti Ray. Well, that's done. What next? Now we need to find out how much Shruti has scored on an average for the subjects those she has appeared in the exam. How do we do that? Well, we know the function average. Let us get on to with that. So there it is, the average function is there. Now what I'm going to do is, next thing, immediately I'm going to nest it with VLOOKUP. What do I need as the first argument is the lookup value. The lookup value will be the name of the student, so that will be appearing in this cell E10. So I'm going to select it. Next thing what is required is the table array. Quite obvious, the table array will be over here from cell A1 to G8. The next thing what is required is the column index number. Friends, generally we choose one column index number that is given to give us the output, as I demonstrated you at the beginning of this video, to find the subject language 01 score for every student. But now here we require the average of that student for all the six subjects. How do we do that? Let's get on to this. Pay attention. The bracket that I have chosen is the brace bracket and not the single parenthesis that we were using or we have used all the time. With this brace bracket, what do I need to find out is from the column number 2, that is column B in this database, up to column number G, that is column number 7 in this database, I need to find out the average. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jot down all these column numbers with a comma separating them from each other, and with 7 as the last input, I'm going to close the brace bracket. Friends, mind well, I have closed the brace bracket. Next thing what it requires in the argument is either true or false. As I said, I'm going to choose 0, and 0 represents false or the exact match. So if there is no exact match, it will return an error, and if there is an exact match, it will return the value, and the value has to be average value. I'm going to close the two parentheses that I have already opened, and once this is done, I'm very much ready to say enter. But friends, let me tell you, here I'm not going to use enter, but what I'm going to use is control shift enter. And with this, when I do that, I am ready with the average value. So what does this return is the average. Fine. So I hope you have understood it. I'll just recap this. So what I did here was I have chosen the function bar. I'll just show you over here in this function bar. I have chosen the average as a function to begin with. The next function that I nested up was VLOOKUP. In this VLOOKUP, I gave all the inputs as usual except the column index number. I entered an array of columns, that is 6 columns from column number 2 to column number 7, and then I closed the parenthesis. And instead of saying enter, I used the input as control plus shift plus enter. And with this input, when I used it, control shift enter, I got the value as average. Had I not used these three keys, control shift and enter together, it would have just returned me the value from the first column number, that was 2 in this case. Over here you see this, and this would have been the output. And again I would have got the language 1 value or the score for language 1 in that case. So friends, again I repeat as a intuition or a recap, please enter control shift enter when you are done with keying in the arguments. Now friends, if you see here, I must bring to your notice that the parenthesis that is used here, or what we see as a result of control shift enter, is this complete thing has been considered as an array, and in this array the two functions average and VLOOKUP are executing the output. Well, with this input, now I'll shift to the next function, that is what we are going to use here, that is sum. The next will be maximum, and the last what we are going to see in this video is minimum. Now with this all dia set up for you, and all the understandings made clear to you. Now I don't think it's going to be a big problem for you to understand the further portion of this video. I'll give the demo a little fast, and I'm going to use the function sum. The next one I'm going to key in is the Vlookup. As ever, again the first value will be the cell to be looked up, then the database or the array. Here it is. The next thing will be the column index number. As I explained earlier, this column index number again will be 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7, and with this done, the brace bracket will be closed. The next thing required is exact match, that is 0. I'm going to close the parenthesis here and say Control Shift Enter. Mind well, if you don't use the Control Shift Enter, you won't get this value of the sum as 416. Let me give you a demo in the next case. I'm going to use in the maximum command, that is max. What do I do next is VLOOKUP. What do I VLOOKUP is the value here in the cell E10 in the array A1 up to G8. What do I look up for is in the brace bracket again. I'm going to mention the list of the columns those are to be included in this function. Once done, close the brace bracket, give comma, and last argument of true or false is to be inputted. Close the parenthesis. And now friends, I'm not going to use Control Shift Enter here so that I can give you a demo what happens when only enter is used. I'm going to say enter, and as I said, there it is. It is returning the value only of 73 here, or rather the maximum value here in this case. So it is not returning the 73 value, but the maximum value what Shruti Ray has scored is 79 as such. So the value should have been 79 over here, but what is happening here is it is returning 65. So what it is doing is, since I just use enter key, it is returning the value from the first column, that is column number 2 in this case. So this is the column number 2, and this is the value that has come as a result over here, and it is not the maximum value, quite obvious. So there is an error in executing the function here. Now you can see here there are no parentheses. As I said, the brace bracket parenthesis should have come over here, but this is not the brace bracket parenthesis. Now what I'm going to do is I'll give demo right out over here. I will go over here and use Control Shift Enter, and as soon as I do, the parenthesis there becomes the brace bracket, and the value that is maximum 83, that is Shruti Ray has scored, has popped up. That is in social studies, that is in column number G in the cell G4. Quite obvious. Now the last one that I'll give a demo here, that is min value or the min function. In this, what I'm going to use is I'm again going to nest it with the VLOOKUP. The search or the lookup cell has been chosen, then the database from where it is to be searched, then the parenthesis, that is the brace bracket. As I have explained you earlier, I am going to do the same thing in this case, choosing the complete range of columns, that is from column number 2 to column number 7, and then the closure with the two brackets. Once done, I am going to use Control Shift and Enter. The value there it is, minimum is 44. If we go and see here, quite obvious, the minimum value here is, in Shruti Ray's case, is 44, and we get 44. Very well. So these two values are matching correct because we have put in the context very correct, friends. So I hope you are very clear with this demonstration. If I go over here and choose some other student, say for example, I choose Deb Mukherjee, the values there appear immediately: 57.5 average, sum is 345, maximum is 76, and minimum is 38. There it is on your screen, so all the values are correct. And in this way, one can choose any student and get the corresponding values. Friends, in this video, I have given you a simple demonstration with the student names and the scores that they have scored in respective subjects. This can be used in many other applications. For example, if a big company wants to know the sales value region wise or a leader name wise, or if there is some other institution say in India and they are describing the temperatures over a month for a given city or number of cities in the country, they can use there. This application can be very well used, and there are n other applications where this can be applied. So friends, I would suggest from the learnings of this video, go ahead and apply your learnings in your respective fields. And if you have liked this video, don't forget to express your thumbs up at the YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, or even if you have seen many videos at this YouTube channel and have not subscribed the channel till date, I recommend, do subscribe the channel. It will always give you benefits some way or other. I'll be soon back with my next video, another entertaining and informative worthy video. Till then, choose, bye, take care.